Have you guys seen Kylo Ren's lightsaber?
Yeah, man, that thing's weird looking.
No, it's not. It's awesome. Here, let me go see if I can find it. I'll show it to you.
My backpacks got jets. Well, I'm Boba, the fat.
Hi, this is the Grumpy Jedi from Dorado, Puerto Rico.
Hi, this is James from Wheaton, Illinois.
And I never listen to Discard to Reroll with Mr. Chip.
And I never listen to Discard to Reroll with Mr. Chip.
Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars.
Stop it, please.
It's
Sweet.
It's
Sorry.
sweet. It is sweet. It's Discard to Reroll, and it's sweet, and it's a podcast about a little Dyson card game that some of us sometimes play. It's called Star Wars Destiny. I'm your host, Mr. Chip, and I'm glad to be here with all of you today. It's been a long time, and we appreciate all of your support. You know what we really appreciate? We appreciate the support of a guy in Los Angeles, California, and you know him and love him, even though he has played Mill competitively and is a dirty animal for that. It's Mike, the Rebel Spy. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. And listen, I think extremely highly of you. And I hope you understand
Thank
that
you.
at this point, even though you shared some very, very concerning information with me tonight, specifically that you're a penchant for playing Monopoly knockoffs in the fantasy realm. Did you cosplay when you played the game?
Yes.
Did you actually cosplay?
No.
Okay, good. That would have been terrible.
That would have made it infinitely.
Oh my god!
I had zero fun. Like if we had cosplayed, maybe I would have had like one fun.
One fun?
Yeah.
Okay, good. We were actually having a conversation prior to hitting the record button about just that lull that we're in, pre-worlds, and you know what's happening in the Destiny scene, and it just feels quiet, Mike. It feels quiet out there.
It does. This is the time where everybody is supposed to be. Or I guess most other people are preparing for Worlds, which is coming up in like 3 weeks. And
are you implying that you're not?
For whatever reason, I just cannot seem to find the motivation.
It's in 3 weeks. How about that? Is that motivation enough right now?
No, I don't know. I feel like what's going to happen is I'm not going to play very much over the next like week and a half or 2 weeks. And I'm going to cram like crazy the last week. And then I'm going to be very mediocre at Worlds. And I will know exactly why. And I will not be upset about it because I'm mostly going just to hang out with people.
Mike, the Rebel Spy, let me ask you this question. What is the last game? I won't embarrass you in terms of the date and time. What was the last deck you played prior to your just rethinking your strategies moments?
So like what was the very last deck that I played, just in general?
Yes, the last game of Star Wars Destiny, a Dyson card game by Fantasy Flight. What was the last deck that your hands touched that you would consider your deck?
I played a Luke Yoda deck, like the new Luke plus Yoda plus Profitable Connections, about a week ago.
Oof. Okay. Was it under duress is I guess the next question.
Slightly.
Okay. What was let me ask this question. What did you play? Who was did you have an opponent?
Yeah, it was just a random TTS opponent.
All right. And what was the outcome?
Like my thought process was, I just got my tickets for Worlds. I should probably play some games. Yeah. I don't like any of the decks that are, top meta decks. So let's try something completely different. And then I did. And then it was like, I won and it was fine, but it's on TTS against a random player. So it means nothing. Okay.
So you know what, which leads us to all the great things we're going to talk about today. By the way, you can join in on the conversation because we definitely need it at this point in time. And you do that by heading over to probably the best place is Twitter. Honestly, it's Discard2TO Reroll. We are on Facebook sometimes, and also just send an email. It's questions@discardtoreroll.com. And by the way, a quick shout out to all of our patrons. I want to say a huge thank you for all of your support. And truthfully, during these lull times, it's really hard. And when it's late at night and you're thinking about, man, is anybody even listening? I think about all of you, and it makes us want to actually record this and do this because that's the real fun of it. And you said it, Mike. It's about the community, and it's a great community. So thank you to everybody for supporting that. And as a result, Mike, you have been helping me through my knowledge of Star Wars. I mean, it's no secret that you hold all of the canon, right? George Lucas has actually anointed you as the official canon bearer for Star Wars, which is, I mean, that's a great honor.
Wow. That is a great honor. Thank you for telling that to me.
Well, I thought he got the message to you. Sometimes he doesn't have email.
No, I heard it here first, but I'm pretty happy about it.
Well, he uses a BlackBerry Pearl still. That's his fault.
That's why.
Things got a little tough after the sale.
That's why.
He only got like $80 billion for it. But
damn it, George.
See, here's one character, Seventh Sister, that I really didn't know. I mean, I know now because I actually play the card in Boba 7. But this is an alternate art card. And so what alternate art is, Mike, is that we take art that's not from Fantasy Flight, you mash it up and you throw it with a card, and you get to play it at a tournament. And by the way, I did talk to some people over at Millennium Games in Henrietta. A big shout out to them too. And I found that in Destiny, even I'd say not at Worlds, but if you play at a regional event and you have alternate art character cards, most people kind of let that slide. Have you found that to be the case, Mike?
Yes, and I will let you in on a secret.
Here it is.
Even last year at Worlds, people were playing with alternate art characters, and nothing was said.
There you go.
At the very beginning of the Swiss, like they announced over the intercom or whatever, like like they announced to everybody, like you should play the FFG version of these cards, like in so many words, and then people still played the alt arts.
Right. Exactly. And that is the power of the people right there, Mike.
Yep.
But Seventh Sister, here's a character that I didn't know, but here's the alternate art card for that, which I don't know if you can see that on my screen, Mike. But I loved it.
I absolutely can see it on your screen. It looks awesome.
Marker. I just loved it. It was just using colored markers, very different style. And then you inspired me with this one. This is Bo-Katan, and it's kind of a real life portrait by an artist. Thomas S. is the artist's name. A lot of great stuff on Deviant Art. It's amazing, and you should check out his work. And there'll be a link in the show notes. And that is a character that interests me, Mike. What do you think about Bo-Katan? I don't know how to say the actual last name there. I'm sure you do.
I also don't know how to say the last name.
Right. Crazy?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
Okay, good. She's a Death Watch lieutenant.
Amazing. Yeah, that art is fantastic.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And I like the background. Love that.
Yeah, cool.
It looks
Good.
so clean.
Well, that's our April alt art card, so we'll make sure we get those out to people. And by the way,
Beautiful.
I mentioned it last time. I was so embarrassed that we checked this out, and Grumpy Jedi and Monley, who's his brother, and they play on TTS and have been supporters of the show from the beginning. I want to say thank you to them. He designed this art, which I loved, and I blew out the greens and purples and all this stuff for a special edition version, but the word shield was spelled wrong, and it takes forever to get these printed, and they come from I don't even know where, truthfully, and it takes like 2.5 weeks, and I'm so excited when they come, and then I found that out. So anyway, everyone's getting that as a result of my being a terrible proofreader. So just to celebrate, I don't know, spell checking, maybe something like that.
Excellent.
So there you go. So cool. I didn't know that would fly. I went back to Millennium for regionals and the deck sleeves, talking about deck sleeves. And you had mentioned the Dragon Shields.
Yep.
You said that's all you play, as a matter of fact. So I bought some Dragon Shields. I bought purple Dragon Shields because I had heard, and this is when there's a real lull in Destiny content, because I was really heavily watching videos on sleeves for cards, like really an unhealthy amount of time.
You were watching the Talarian community college videos?
Dude, that guy. I mean, I see him in my sleep. Like I fall asleep to that guy, which tells you all about me as a human being. So there's opacity, which the word opaque, if you think about that, I don't know why I think that to me means like invisible, but it's the opposite. Opaque means like you can't see through it. Mm-hmm. Right. So I guess Dragon Shields have a problem with opacity, that the only ones that are opaque are black, matte, or I guess they're called jet, and purple. That's what I heard.
Nice. I use both of those, but I use other ones too.
Okay. But they have to be matte, like the purple matte.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I actually only like the matte ones. I can't stand non-matte.
Yes.
Card sleeves.
fun fact, you forgot to tell me that part when you mentioned Dragon Shield.
Yeah, my bad.
So I got an S-ton of Dragon Shield colors, sleep, like you name it. I'm so excited. I brought the box to and this was just the other weekend to play, and was ready to sleeve up some cards. And to my surprise, you can see those things. They were like a Kleenex. You could see all the way through them, and they felt terrible. How about a quick, like a disclaimer? Don't use those. Only use the matte, because the mattes are amazing. The other ones are terrible.
That, like, to me, that's just such a given already that I don't even like think about that. It's like, like I would never buy card sleeves that weren't matte in the first place. So I didn't even think to mention that to somebody else.
Like how it's crazy. Like there should be. I don't even know how you would find that information out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Dragon Shield. I'm going to bring these up right now. It's just, I don't want anyone else ever to make that mistake. See, there it is. So it comes up on Amazon. Dragon Shield sleeves, Dragon Shield matte. Like, boom, 2 different ones right there.
Yeah,
there they
you
are.
want the matte ones.
All day long, you want the matte ones. You don't want to touch those other ones. But
yeah,
I guess any color, and I don't know if it's changed, but matte black, or jet. Where is jet? There it is. No, that's slate. Petrol. What the heck is the difference?
Petrol's kind of cool. It's like a sort of dark teal color.
Is it?
There's jet.
Okay. Yeah. So I heard jet and purple. Where's purple here? I don't even see purple. But those are the 2 that are totally opaque.
Okay.
And the other ones are not. And so the feedback was in Magic. So again, I think it's just because of the size of the game. But in Magic, you can't play unless they are fully opaque. So like but can you imagine, like, is someone really good at, do you think somebody's going to do that and like make you switch?
In Magic, 100%. In Star Wars Destiny, if they do, I'm probably not going to play with them.
Yeah, right. Right. Like that is the end of the game.
Yeah.
I'm trying to bring up the tournament rules. I love Google. You don't even have to like remotely come close to spelling things right. Tournament, it's 1.0. It's close enough.
Yeah, I know that you do have to have like, you know, opaque card sleeves for Destiny 2. I think that's like one of the things that it says under, you know, like the equipment that you need to play. Yeah, because like you actually do need to sleeve your cards.
Right. Here we go. Let's see what we have down here. Going to time, tiebreakers. We learned all about that. Tournament tiers. Oh, it's not in here. See, they need to have a better, what is this, like a Microsoft Word document?
You can control F and then type sleeve.
Card sleeves. There it is.
Boom.
Look at you. Player materials. Does that. Card sleeves. Here we go. This is on page. Boom. You're like a savant. Card sleeves. Players are required to sleeve their deck in opaque card sleeves for formal and premier events. All sleeves within a single deck must be identical in size, color, texture, and condition. At relaxed this texture is a little less firm than it would. Relaxed events, if a player is not using opaque card sleeves, he or she must make sure that all card backs in their deck have a uniform appearance. So that doesn't even apply for you at Worlds, Mike.
No, actually at Worlds, I don't know if it'll be the same this year, but last year, they actually gave out a pack of Dragon Shield jet sleeves to every single person.
They did
that was participating. Yes, just like, so there were no excuses, you know, like if you needed to, you know, to get new sleeves, you just use the ones that they gave you for free. That's genius. That was pretty cool. I thought that was really good.
It says here now, here's the other part that I don't know if people really understand. By the way, this is the segment called card sleeves that you need. Players may sleeve their characters in Battlefield. It says May. You don't even have to sleeve them.
Because there's no danger of you, like, you know, marking them somehow, because there would be no point.
Yeah, why mark it? Well, you know, back in the old competitive Magic days, when we first went to our first tournament, this is 1996. We played with this like team events just started to happen, and we played with this team from, I don't know, I'm gonna guess someplace in California because they were doing all these really cool hippie things. But they, but no, they would draw on the cards, like on the lands and stuff. But I thought, like, I'm like, oh, that's like defacing a painting. Like you can't, but everybody was doing it. That was like the cool thing to do as long as they were in sleeves. So marking your battlefield, at the end of the game, making sure you get your stuff back. I don't know. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Players may sleeve their characters in Battlefield, but they must use different sleeves from their deck. It says they must. So if you're going to sleeve, you cannot use the same sleeves that you're going to use for your deck.
Yeah, I would love to see someone try to DQ somebody for that.
Exactly.
See how fast they get shunned.
I'm talking about positive player experiences, and here I am trying to tell you the specific rules you need to call a judge over for. This is
I always do that anyway, because like if I don't do that, there's a 100% chance I'm shuffling my battlefields and my characters into my deck.
Right. You have different colors?
Yeah, actually, so I use like the FFG Star Wars sleeves for my characters in Battlefield, and then I use Dragon Chills for the actual deck.
Now, let me tell you my issue with that. Right now, this is like putting in the jar of candy, like of all the green Skittles, you put a red one in there. That's what I feel. Because when you put that, like, where then do you put the deck? Because those sleeves are totally different size.
They are different size. That is true.
They're terrible. They like hang over the top.
Box.
The what? Say that again.
They're like, yeah, they still fit in the deck box. They're like, once they're in there, I don't have to look at them.
Did we settle on what deck box you're going to use this time?
Which ones that I personally use, or which ones that you?
No, for this tournament, because I feel like we were, I was worried we're gonna have.
Oh yeah, we were at one point talking about like the best stuff to bring to it.
And you were bringing the whole kit. Like you brought a tent, and you had like a camping backpack, and you had a canteen.
That didn't work out.
Right. So where are we going to be for Worlds? Because you got to fly.
Yeah. I'll probably bring a backpack in my suitcase, and then bring all my dice and stuff in my suitcase. I think having it like all my decks and everything like that in my suitcase is more dangerous, but it's also a lot less likely for me to be like for them to check my bag, like in the security line with these, weird plastic cubes that show up on their screen.
Right.
So
yeah, the shape doesn't serve them well.
No.
And X-rays. So, but what are you going to bring to the tournament? Like, what are you going to carry your stuff in?
I just bought a new backpack yesterday.
I thought we decided we're not doing backpacks.
Yeah.
What did you get?
It's a small-ish Star Wars backpack.
Oh no!
It's by Loungefly.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's got like flowers on it, and then it's also got like the Millennium Falcon and like some X-wings going through it. I think it looks pretty cool. But yeah, I like the size a lot, and I think that it'll work. Oh, that's the one that I should have gotten.
That's what you bought? By the way, this is Loungefly.com. This is the segment that we like to call Fashion Advice by Mike. Loungefly Star Wars The Last Jedi Porg plush backpack.
I'm actually really sad now that I didn't get the Porg backpack.
Dude, that's pretty.
That was obviously the right choice.
Good Lord. All right, let me go back here. Well, you did say you got the bag with flowers on it. Where's that?
That's true. That's true.
Where? Are these all Star Wars backpacks?
Mm-hmm.
What?
It's kind of like a stealthy Star Wars backpack, the one that I have.
I've gone through like 20 now. Have you seen it yet? Hold on a minute. Let me go back.
No, but it's similar to like that Boba Fett one right there with the leaves kind of in the middle.
Oh,
so
man, that's pretty.
It's similar to that, but not quite that.
This?
Yeah, that's it.
The Loungefly. By the way, you can follow. We'll put a link in the show notes to this. It's the Loungefly X Star Wars floral print backpack. Look at this. It has a laptop pocket. You are going to be the most stylish guy. It's like if a Hawaiian shirt made love to Jansport. Yes, right. Look at that. You may get kicked out of the tournament before you even get into it. Oh my God. No, it's nice. Did you get the coin cosmetic bag? Because that could have been for you.
I didn't know what I'd be able to use it
that's
for.
it.
That could have been a good token bag or something.
Oh man. All right. Well, I give you a lot of credit.
Missed opportunity.
So you got that, and then you're going to throw your decks in what?
Just like some Sidewinder, like their Ultimate Guard Sidewinder things.
All right.
And then,
there's some cool stuff here.
I want to keep it simple.
Yeah, I think that's smart. I think that's really smart. I also just don't recommend you drink and buy backpacks anymore, but that's fine. So I guess the bigger question is then what the deck you're actually going to play. So since the last deck you played,
that is a great question.
Let me cross all the other things off here because we had 7 other things we're going to talk about. And I didn't realize we could have just talked about this. I think we need to help you. It's in 3 weeks. You don't have a deck. The last time you played Luke, who again?
Luke Yoda. It was actually really fun. It had I guess my thought was Yoda should be in a deck with Mind Probe because, like, why wouldn't you want to guarantee Mind Probe specials?
Right.
And so I put that together, and I didn't play Mind Probe very often, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
And it's not top tier, but it was like better than I expected it to be. But I was kind of just playing for fun anyway. It wasn't like real testing, even though it probably should have been.
Right.
But so here's like one thing that I like has kind of been keeping me less motivated, I guess, is that after the San Diego regional, and even a little bit before it, like the local scene here has like really died off.
Yeah.
So it's been, harder and harder to get people to come to like, weekly game nights and stuff like that. So I haven't actually been to like an actual like, local event in, I don't know, like a month.
Right.
And when I do go, it's like, there's 3 or 4 people, which is strange.
Yeah.
But encouragingly, I will be going to an event tomorrow night, but it is a strictly casual event. And it sounds like a blast. They're calling it a Cantina Brawl. Okay. And it's at a place where you can like bring your own booze. And so you can like bring beers, bring food, hang out, play. And so the format is that you can only play exactly 3 yellow characters, either hero or villain. Can't mix. But regardless of what you are, you can include an additional 2 cards in your deck, and those 2 cards have to be Cantina Brawl.
Okay. How specific is how many people are playing in that thing?
So on the Facebook invite, there are confirmed 12 people going and 15 people interested.
That's amazing.
Like that is it, like really awesome. And I'm hoping that a lot of people actually go because it sounds like so much fun.
2 cards have to be.
That's totally the type of Destiny that I am in the mood for right now. Just
I'm with
like you. Wacky, just fun, just like do crazy things. Destiny. So yeah, I think
that's amazing.
Yeah. They're doing things like you're not allowed to play. What's the card? It's like remove all your yellow dice and deal that much damage. It's an Awakenings card.
Fight Dirty?
Yeah, Fight Dirty. You're not allowed to play Fight Dirty because like it would make decks actually probably powerful.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So it'd be more fun to play without it.
What's the one?
I'm excited.
What's the card? Another card. So
Free for All. Are you thinking Free for All?
No, Free for All is good too. Free for All is good too. I'm thinking of the one where you Battle of Wills, where you roll in a character, and I roll in. I choose a character and you choose a character. We roll in, and whoever loses, like
the dice that are lower.
Yeah, I love that. That's the kind of stuff.
Hilarious.
My best friend who's I really feel bad. I've gotten really addicted to the game. That he is all about making a Crime Lord deck, and I think everybody goes through that moment when they see that card. Like, this card has to be good, and when it works, that card is just sick. I just love watching it work.
It's disgusting.
so that would work, right? You can bring that. It's yellow, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Crime Lord up.
Yeah, so I haven't decided like what character combination I'm going to bring. I'll probably, obviously pick at the last minute like everything else. But it's got to be 3 yellow characters. So I mean, I honestly I might just play 3 Gamorrean guards because Gamorrean guards like in my top 3 favorite characters in the game, and that just sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Now that gets me interested again. And one of the things I wanted to do, and I'm super bummed about not being able to go to Worlds, but next year we've got it cleared that part of the doing this podcast, I kind of made a little bit of an agreement with the missus that one event next year, big event that we could be at, and I want to do something like that. I want to do a meetup, but it's got to be something like that, and it's got to be at a place like that. That sounds like a cool super cool place. And maybe PAX is the right. I just don't know which event. I think like Worlds would be fun to do it at, but people are actually there to compete and stuff. And I just want to get.
Well, I mean, like there's 3 days of it. Like the downside is that there are actual like side events where you can like win stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the potential downside. But if you do it at night after all that stuff is done, then it could still be really fun. I think people will be into that.
You ready for my Kickstarter idea? Here it is.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I don't know if I'd be able to do it because of Fantasy Flight, but who knows? Based on my feedback over the last 13 episodes, they don't listen anyway. But I want to do a Kickstarter to produce a giant sized 2-player version of Destiny. I don't know what it would be. I'd put 2 decks together. I don't think it has to be the 2-player set because I don't want to see R2-P2 that big, nor do I want to see Kylo. But with, like whenever you go to those shows, you see like, I don't know, big Scrabble or big versions of the games, like with huge dice and like oversized cards. Like you have to physically like to roll the die. You have to pick it up with 2 hands. It's on the ground, like foam. I want to make
like literally giant cards and giant dice.
Yes. Yeah. And then you get to play it. And I would set up a booth at whatever it was and you come out or the parking lot. I don't really care. And then you get to play the giant size game.
I love it. You would have to roll with both hands.
Yes.
That's got to feel good.
They make those dice and so like therapy, like cubes and stuff like that. Like that's they absolutely make them. They're light enough. But yeah, if we could put I could definitely get those stickers printed and stuff. It would cost. I think probably $1,000. I could make that like really like it would look really good. So
that sounds like a lot of fun.
We'll see. But wouldn't you want to play if you saw that?
Oh yeah.
You want to roll the dice. So, all right. Well, we covered that.
Like that seems like a good idea for FFG to like just have that as a way to bring people over to like their booths at like conventions and stuff. That'd be pretty hilarious.
At their booth. Who wouldn't want to do that? They had one where you can get a picture of yourself like as a Star Wars figure or whatever. Yeah, that's anyway. But they can call me if they're interested. So real quick, back to like what deck would we play? Right, for when you get into the competitive side of the shop, although Cantina Brawl sounds way more fun. Jedi Geek Girl, shout out to her, and I want to make sure I give her website credit. It's iRebelDestiny.com. She posts some great stuff and great resources, and she pulls a lot of great people in to do that stuff too and write, and you should check it out and make sure you support her over at that site. She took a page out of Jack's book from the Golden Dice podcast, another show that I listen to all the time, and it's great people, even though he's a dirty Sabine player. She took the 37 events and she did a top 8 breakdown, which was ridiculous what she did. And but when you look at these pie charts, old Destiny and other games that don't have a very healthy meta, you wouldn't see a lot of colors on the pie chart. But, based on what you can see from here, Mike, there are a lot of colors in all of these. And one of the things I wanted to look at real quick, she broke down the top 2. So the top 2 decks that were in the final game, basically, at the end. And let me bring it up a little bit bigger. Okay. So here is the breakdown. So forgive me as I read a little bit of statistics, but the total number of different decks that made all of those top table in the regional finals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 different combinations of characters.
That is a lot.
Yeah. Doesn't that's pretty good, right?
That's pretty awesome.
And if you look at the top 12%, it's E-Boba, E7 Sister. And I kind of felt it shifting that way. And I've got feelings on that, which I'll share in a minute. E7 Sister, Sienna. And is there anyone else there?
It would be Night Sister.
Yeah, isn't that Bro TK right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yoda, E Hondo was 6%. So those two, by the way, 12%, E Boba, E7 Sister, and 12% OTK or Bro TK. So those are the top 2. But that's 12%. So E Yoda, E Hondo was 6%, 7%. Let's say 7%. We'll round it up. Ayla, E Rose, Ezra. That's 8%. So is that what is that? That's a vehicle deck, right?
Yeah.
EPO 2, E Hondo, 5%. E Ayla, E Ray 2, that's 4%. Obi Maz, 2.7%. Let me see, go around here. E Kylo 2, E Mother, that's 9.5%. Real quick, just go through Yoda. You'll assume they're elite. when you'll figure it out. Yoda, Rey, Padawan, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Kylo, two mothers, Sabine, Yoda, Isla, Padawan. Oh, what is Padawan? Oh, that's the double Padawan deck. Ayla, Potu, Riken, Yoda, Jeddah. It's going in your territory now. Mill, Sabine, Ezra. Now, why is that? Was that listed twice? No, Sabine, Ezra, and then Kylo to Anakin. Crazy.
Yeah. Tons of diversity.
If you look at that and you know about, we won't go into the errata, but based on the situation that is now, it's been a real quiet lull. People are crafting their decks in secret, except you. Or maybe you are. Maybe you are the sneakiest. You are pretty sneaky.
I'm a master illusionist.
Well, you are, because you threw out. You're like, oh, it'd be so cool to play. I don't know if I'd be able to ever play Jar Jar at a tournament. I don't know if it. And then you top 8 with it. Remember that?
I will say that there's a non-zero chance to play Jar Jar.
Okay,
it's just for posterity's sake.
All right. Well, looking at this, do you think this is going to be different for Worlds, or is something here going to be the one that makes it?
My gut says that something new will win.
How about that?
I have no idea what that would be, but
I don't know about that.
But I think the top decks will probably be, like. Pretty much any of those that are like 10% or above winners, like maybe not so much the Kylo Talzin anymore, but maybe, like the hero vehicles, the Alo Ray, the Poe Hondo, the Yoda Hondo, more the Yoda Hondo than the Poe Hondo, and then Boba Seven Sister. I think Bro TK might still be at the top tables even with the Maul Saber nerf, but I don't know if it's. I mean, it's obviously not as good,
right?
But I think it's still good.
Yeah. So based on this and your knowledge of Star Wars Destiny, what if you had to pick a card? I thought we'd do a little bit of a game here, Mike. You pick a card that's not represented here, a character. Now, you mentioned one before from that little starter deck, but you pick a card, and if you want to say the whole pairing, by all means, do it. What card that's not here do you think has a chance to surprise everybody and be at the top table? And I'll pick one, and we'll see. I mean, you can stack the deck a little bit, literally, because you're going to be playing in it. But I've got one.
Okay.
Want me to give you mine?
Yeah, you can pick first.
So I played Jeremiah, and he knows exactly which Jeremiah I'm talking about, because A, there's not a lot of them that play Destiny, but B, there's not a lot of them that play in Henrietta. Last Friday, he played a deck that was called, and I'm going to bring it up right now, H2P2s. This is Poe Han. So new Han and Poe 2. That deck was crazy good. Crazy good.
That seems pretty sweet. I've tried Han and Finn together, and that was pretty good. So I could definitely see Poe being really good.
Yeah, I played
just straight up better.
Yeah, so Han, I haven't played against him a lot. He makes a ton of money, a lot, and his ability's nasty. If you don't know, Han's ability, or Han, however you say it, I got picked on, by the way, mercilessly by emails about how I said a melee, for the record.
Oh,
yes. People let me know it's melee, idiot. Sincerely, the internet. That was the email. So Han or Han, however you say it, the Savvy Smuggler. He's a hero rogue, and he's from the starter. Character Scoundrel, 11-14, health is 10. After you activate this character, you may re-roll a die, yours or an opponent's. That was a nasty little ability.
Yes, it is much better than it looks.
It definitely is, and it's 14. And there's the pay side, but it made a ton of money, and so I went after Poe first, which I thought was the great idea, but it actually isn't that great of an idea, because he had running interference, which won him the game. By the way, he ran easy pickings, which is nasty, hasty exit, truce, vandalize. I mean, you name it. God, it was just it just felt fast and just kept coming, and I don't know. I just think that there's a lot to this deck. I really like it. I built it as soon as I got home.
Yeah, I like the idea of it for sure. So I think something along those lines could do well. Like this, it looks very similar to like Boba Phasma to me.
Yep.
And I think one of those could end up like, being represented at the top.
I could be making somebody's life miserable because maybe this is the card. I remember Maz's Vault. Nobody thought that was any good. Just saying. I'm taking credit for that on the entire internet and Destiny community. Had nothing to do with the design of the card. Taking total credit for it. But I feel like Han is the one. What about you? What do you think is that deck or card that could sneak in here?
I kind of like. I'm probably wrong. Well, okay, I'm definitely wrong, but I want to say Finn.
Finn. I like it.
Yeah,
Awakening's Finn, right?
Yeah,
First Order Defector. That's what's his cost? 13.16. It's a bargain. You just want to play Red Villain weapons and vehicles.
The Legacy's Red Villain weapons and vehicles are just so good.
There's no pay sides. There's 3 damage on that guy. He's got a resource, a shield. It's a good die.
What more do you want?
I don't know why everybody complains about it. It's good art.
Yeah.
So you think the new Finn? Why do you think that card could sneak up on people?
I just think like he hasn't been explored yet. Maybe he has a good health value at 11, 4 damage sides, and a resource. Like on paper, he looks really strong. Whether or not somebody can kind of unlock his potential is a completely, another story. So, yeah,
you have rolled this bad boy against me, and in fact, you've rolled this bad boy against me with this guy, with the Han I was talking about.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I'm not sure that that's the deck, because I think that like Poe's Blaster is a reason to play Poe, and Poe's Blaster is so good that maybe like access to Poe's Blaster is better than Finn,
right?
But maybe not. I don't know, because it's only. I mean, he only has one special, and if you're not playing like the Emperor's Throne Room in that deck anyway, maybe not. I don't know.
Interesting.
But yeah, my other pick's Jar Jar, obviously.
Well, we know that's going to be there. We know you're going to. You've got to do that. I mean, I feel like that's your comfortable pair, like your Converse. Everybody's got that pair of Chuck Taylors. Mm-hmm. Like that's your Chuck Taylor.
Yep. Oh, and while we are talking about Jar Jar and iRebel, I would like to shout out Amanda for graciously trading me her Jar Jar spot gloss for my Tarkin spot gloss. So now all is right with the world, and I have.
Are you kidding?
Jar Jar.
She is a saint.
Yes,
to do that.
She's awesome.
So you have that card now? I missed that. Did you post that?
Yeah, I posted it on Twitter.
See, I was gone for like a week and a half, and it's just been. But that's awesome. That is very kind. Do you like it?
It is awesome. It's fantastic. I love it.
There's a 100% chance you're playing Jar Jar. Just so we're all clear in this whole mess. You can talk all you want about playing something else, but
yeah, probably.
So if it's not you, which is, I don't even know why we think that, but if it's not going to be you, what do you what deck are you the most concerned about?
Probably a tie between like Boba 7 and Hero Vehicles.
Yeah. So one of the things I felt, and my friend who was there that night, just the other week when we played, was playing vehicles, and I think right now the speed, I felt like when I was playing in the regional, like the speed of the game, like turns happen so fast and damage accumulated so quickly. And maybe it's just because I didn't play against a vehicle deck or a mill deck. Like it was who could get out the damage the fastest. And those are the people who went and won. And in Rochester, it ended up being Boba 7.
That's one of the decks that's best at doing that for sure. And they can have just like really explosive turns with a deal like, 10 to 14 damage, and you can't do anything. Right. And, the thing that I found though with the deck, and I'm just probably not good at playing it, was that with Boba Fett's card, I found myself wanting to maximize that special.
So for those who don't know, let me just bring it up to read it because I don't know the exact quote of it, but it's basically the value of it is the value of any other die that's on the table. Boba's type of Boba Fett. There it is. Yeah. Deal damage to a character equal to the value showing on a die, yours or an opponent's. I always felt like I wanted to maximize that, and I was waiting to resolve it when it came out, and then it would be for 2. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't turn it over and get that.
Couldn't
4.
bring yourself to resolve it for the 2.
Well, I mean, it did ultimately, but it felt like it needed to be better than that, you know? And the times that I actually did well with the deck, I felt like I was utilizing Disrupt a lot more. And, you know, cashing in what was on the dice. So I feel like, except for that special, because I always felt like I can get the 4. I wanted to like get the 4. And by getting greedy, I think I just went too slow and lost a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that sounds like more of a like play style type of thing.
That I'm bad, right? Yes, that I'm not a good player.
Not that you're bad. That
no,
it is. Maybe it doesn't fit your natural tendencies.
Right. I need I feel like I don't want to be an aggressive player, but I am. So I'm just trying to come to that realization. Yeah. However,
I mean, like there are decks that I just garbage at playing. So it's like you know, everybody's got, you know, its own in terms of like decks to play. Aside from the people that are just like, you know, jamming games like all day long and, you know, just can play anything.
Yep, exactly. Well, speaking of deck tech, by the way, the one thing I think I was a few months too early. So I'm gonna give away some secrets, some professional secrets right now, Mike. So do you have a pen?
Let's hear it. Hang on, let me grab one.
All right, grab something to write with. I prefer pen.
We're good.
Not pencil. Not pencil.
I got it.
Yeah, mark it down.
Yeah.
Typewriter will work. I played Salvage Stand, and I think it absolutely cost me 2 games because it was a waste when I played it in the regional. However, if you're worried about Maul's lightsaber, this is a good tech against itself and against Bro TK. Is I think resources and with like with vehicles, I felt like they needed those resources if Rose didn't roll them out. I think Salvage Stand could help. And by the way, that is it used to be played all the time. This is a 0 cost support. It's villain. After one of your dice rolls a resource, you may exhaust this support to force an opponent to lose 1 resource. I feel like we saw this all the time. And then I don't see it anymore. Like nobody plays it anymore. And maybe it's because of Maz's Vault or other cards that generate resources, but I don't know. What did this card just fall out of favor? What happened?
I think one of the reasons why this card was like so good during like Spirit Rebellion was that you could play it in like FN 2199 decks, and you're rolling so many more dice per turn in those decks that the odds of you hitting a resource off one of those is a lot higher.
Right.
So I think that has something to do with it. Like aside from that, it's just a bigger card pool, and you know other cards are filling the slot. That said, I still think that Salvage Stand is a really good card, and I'm like, if I played a yellow villain deck, there's like a 90% chance that I would play this in it.
Yeah, I think choking people for resources right now might help in this the meta that's about to take shape, and who knows what it's going to be.
One of the problems with it is that it can be really slow. And if you're not claiming, then your opponent can just spend their resources before you would potentially remove them on your action. So that is a concern. But I think that if I played Boba Phasma, let's say, I would probably put that in the Boba Phasma deck because that would be fast enough to claim and, you know, get some value out of that.
Yep, for sure. Here was the other card that I put in, and I think it was too early. And I was thinking about Sabine Ezra with this one, but Coercion. So this is a 1 cost villain. Spot a yellow character event. Spot a yellow character to reveal an opponent's hand and choose an event in it. They must play that event as their next action if able. What do you think about this card?
Well, so the obvious, best outcome here is you reveal your opponent's price of failure, and then you force them to do that. But if this didn't, really see play, even when, Bro TK was, the hot deck, I don't know if I see it in in decks in general. I think that like there's a chance that like just Friends in Low Places is potentially better than this, right. Or like even Scruffy Nerf Herder kind of, because your opponent can kind of get around this by just passing. So there aren't that many situations where like you choose an event for them to play and they can't sort of wait it out until they have the advantage.
So you don't like it, is what you're saying?
No, I don't like it. If the rule didn't exist that you could just pass,
right.
Then it would be one of like the best card in the game. Right. But
it's true.
Yeah, like let's say you coercion somebody's removal, like they just pass until you roll your dice and then your dice.
Yeah.
So it's weird like that because like as the person who played coercion, like what are you gonna do? Like you played coercion and then like are you gonna pass? Like then there was no point in even
right exactly. Yeah. This is going to be specific. Like I think the price of failure, you nailed it with that. Or hyperspace jump. But why would you do that as your next action?
Potentially. Yeah, I mean I like hyperspace jump maybe, but like your opponent probably already got like value out of their dice anyway before you played coercion. So like if you're playing against Sabine, like they can just activate Sabine, like put a ambush weapon on her, like action 1, roll her out, deal some damage, and then if you coercion a hyperspace jump, they probably don't care that much because they already like resolve some damage.
What if it was the first turn and I coercioned never tell me the odds?
Then they just like they would have to have 3 resources already. But I mean, like it. So
they couldn't play it. So basically, it could ultimately end in both passing.
Sure, but like if that's what you're trying to do, then Scruffy Nerf Herder is better, right?
Because, right. True.
Like if
take it,
like you just discard it. Like they would lose the 3 resources as well in this case, which is obviously better. But
makes sense.
I don't know. Like they have to specifically have that card in their hand or like a card similar.
Makes sense. So really, price of failure is about all this is good for.
Like
if they play it, if they even play it.
Sorry?
If they even play it, right? Because they could just ultimately pass all the way through.
Yeah, they could. I think if Destiny had a sideboard, like this would be a card potentially worth playing.
Right.
But thankfully, Destiny does not have a sideboard.
Right. So we're bagging coercion. You like salvage stand. 1 for 2. That's
yes.
I appreciate that. And you made me not want to play that card now. And I feel like the times I played it, it didn't do anything. So it was stupid. It made me think too much. So maybe bring it to the Cantina Brawl.
Yeah, see that's the perfect place for it.
So you're saying Finn.
Stuff.
Yeah, for sure. You're saying Finn here. I'm going to make sure I write this down. Finn. And I'm saying Han. And let's see. Mm-hmm. Let's see where they actually show up in the top whatever. And just go from there. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
When do you think we're going to see some more spoilers?
I don't know. It feels like we should, have something relatively soon. I wonder if they'll do something before Worlds, maybe. But I'm not sure. When was the last spoiler
pre-Worlds
that they did?
The last ones they did, I'm going to tell you, I felt like I was excited to podcast tonight because last time we did is when they released the first set. And so I was half kind of thinking that's what's going to happen, but it didn't happen. Let's see. News.
Sadly.
They did. So as much as we talked about iRebel tonight, and I feel like I insulted her because I said on Twitter, who would buy these binders? And she loves them. So, Amanda, I apologize. But a binding force is the latest news, and that was on April 6th. April 4th was the weird Holocron update where they said, oh, we're going to update, and then they did. And then World announcement. I don't even see where the heck it was. The 13th.
Okay, right before that. So March 13th. So it was a month ago.
Yeah.
A month ago tomorrow.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe tomorrow we'll see some spoilers.
It could be. I'm one day too early. How about that? I feel like it would help.
Yes, it would. Those dice binders are ridiculous.
Well, it's just, if the material, it's just not good. Like, I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a Jin Urso dice binder is nice. By the way, I'm sorry. They have the worst e-commerce site ever. It is it is just terrible. Like, I didn't pre-order these. Look at, they're all, why are they all there? I don't know. But, and Jin Urso is terrible.
Don't lie, Chip.
Yes, I want them.
You got 3 of these on the way.
If they were marginally good, I would have. Right. I mean, I'm that starved.
Okay. For them to make them good, it would be so easy. They just change the plastic to foam.
Yeah.
And then they change like the arrangement of things around so that you can hold tokens and all you need for a deck and dice. Like,
right. Tokens.
So easy.
What do they expect you to do? Like swallow the tokens like you're a drug mule? Like, what are you going to do with the how?
Like just the card numbers. Okay, you have room for 44 dice and 44 sleeved cards. Like, did they designed the product before they started?
44 sleeved cards.
Like, you're going to put one and a half decks. Okay, but between 2 of these,
right,
you can have almost 3 decks.
Yep, perfect. I don't get it. What if all right, here we go. This is ways to make Fantasy Flight games better when it comes to Destiny. They're going to have oversized at their booth at Gen Con. They're going to have an oversized game, like the big dice that you can roll. The second thing they're going to do is they're going to redo these, we want foam, but what if they put in like metal tokens and stuff, and had a place for them to go inside of this? Like, I'd buy that in a heartbeat.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right? What about all 3?
Like, if these came with even some acrylic tokens that you could only get in this, like, people would be all over that.
And how cheap is that for them? Or those power tokens?
Yeah.
Or
easy.
Here's a tip: put the eroded cards in there.
Man,
right? Reprint them, throw them in.
Yeah, we should start a game company.
Listen, questions at discardtoreroll.com. People, give us a call. Golly! All right, I'm done. It says here, and you got your water bottle though. That's good. Pop it like it's hot. Let's hear it.
Sorry.
No, this is a great water bottle. Look at that. Wow. It seals up good. Are you going to bring that on the plane?
Oh, yeah. No, probably not.
I just got to read this real quick. This is terrible. It is definitely somebody who doesn't play. With room for 44 dice and 44 sleeve cards, these custom dice binders feature some of the Star Wars Galaxy's most iconic characters while offering convenient storage and protection for your deck. What's more? Here's what's more. The binder's plastic trays display every die individually in rows, Mike. They display them in rows. Making them easy to identify and access. All you need to do, and this is with an exclamation point, all you need to do is pull the die you need as soon as your card is played. That's all you need to do.
So they're marketing this as a thing that you use to hold your deck. Why do you need 44 cards?
Oh, no. While you play. Like this is what you're going to bring to the... I want...
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Right, like, here it is. What? If anyone who's going to Worlds brings a Star Wars Destiny binder from Fantasy Flight Games, it could be in these new ones if they're available, or the old ones that have already come out, and you actually play, you have to play a game in the tournament with this and prove it. Take a picture of it. You can take a Belfie, which is a binder selfie at the game. I will send you one piece of each of the Altar cards we've done so far. I will send it to you, a courtesy of Discard or Reroll, because you deserve something to have the guts to do that.
Indeed.
And if you win, I don't even know, you get to be a guest host on the show. And that's just, it's just amazing. All right. We've severely butchered that enough. Sorry. Can you answer a couple questions for us since you are the guy that knows the game?
Let's do it.
So I asked Mike a first feedback. I said, Mike, we got to spice up the Destiny community. It's at a lull. This is our chance. Let's go to Reddit. I'm going to pull some questions off of Reddit, and then we're going to get a true professional player like Mike, the Rebel Spy Rudin. He's going to answer these questions for people. And I said, we need a powerful Star Wars themed name. I told you tonight, George Lucas gave you the keys to the canon. Like, you're the guy. And the name of the segment is the weekly question segment. And we're not even weekly.
It's to the point. It's like everybody knows what it is now.
I feel like it. I feel like they definitely do. Here's the questions. The theme is binding the crystal. Haida 77 asks, start of the round. It binds all things is ready. In hand, I have heirloom lightsaber. As Chris as Chris, the crime lord, aka Sir Christopher, would say, heirloom lightsaber, and reaping the crystal. So in his hand, heirloom lightsaber, reaping the crystal. The Haida 77 plays reaping the crystal, taps it, binds all things, plays heirloom lightsaber for a cost of 1 resource. Here is the logic per tournament goers. It binds is a before effect that interrupts the queue, but by the time it interrupts, reaping has already checked the cost of the upgrade and been played, reducing its cost by 1. The question is, Mike, is that a legal play? Does it cost 1? Can you do both things? What say you?
It is legal. It costs 1, and I can't explain why.
Perfect.
Because I am slightly bad at like reading through these lawyery rules, especially the queue is very confusing to me. But smart people have said that it works, so I believe them.
I agree with you. And smart people, there's something about before effects. Smart people have also said tech team and rally. It's like the same thing as tech team and rally aid.
Right. Okay. Wait. So can we bring up binds all things real quick?
Listen. You just tell me. I'm a squirrel trying to get a nut in your world. You just tell me what to do. Binds it binds. Also, from our segment, cards that sound inappropriate but are not. It binds all things. Cards that sound inappropriate but not. That was a great segment that no one listened to. Here you go. Binds all things. Before you play a blue upgrade.
So it is a before effect.
Yeah, and the way I know that is because it says before you play a blue upgrade, you may exhaust the support to decrease its cost by 1. And this is a neutral. Blue.
So I think the reason why it works, and there's a 90% chance that I'm wrong about this, but I'm just going to throw it out anyway.
More than likely this is wrong.
Maybe the reason why it works is that the card that you're actually playing is Reaping the Crystal. So you're playing Reaping the Crystal first, and then you play the upgrade. So at the time you're playing Reaping the Crystal, like the card costs 3.
Right.
And then Reaping the Crystal makes it cost 1 less. And then it binds all things also makes it cost another 1 less. But it doesn't go before Reaping the Crystal. It goes before the heirloom lightsaber.
That's right. First in, last out. Wait.
There's I'm pretty sure I'm wrong about this, but that sounds logical in my head. So we're just going to go with it.
Okay. So the answer is yes, and you'd allow that.
Yeah, I would allow that.
So what's tech? Let's look at tech team real quick. Tech team, TECH, tech team. Tech team is a neutral, and it costs 1 resource. Before you play a support, you may exhaust this support to decrease its cost by 1. Right? Same thing, pretty much. For support.
Exactly.
So in the rally aid, which has a character that I really don't know on it, this guy. And do you know who that is? That a particular breed or around a race?
Yeah, it's a thing Lorgan.
A thing? What? I'm sorry, a thing
I have
lord?
no idea.
Okay,
no clue.
that is something I think, but I'm not exactly sure.
No, it's definitely something. I like. It's one of the few races that I have absolutely no idea what it's called.
So there you go, everyone. I think
Stump me.
The night that we announced George Lucas turned over the keys of the cannon,
he's taking them right back.
Like, I don't know who that is or what it is, but Rally Aid is this. It costs 1. It's hero card. It's uncommon, by the way. And the action is exhaust the support to reveal a random card in your hand. You may play that card, decreasing its cost by 1 or 2 if it's a vehicle. So this is an action. So you do this first, right? In order to play the card, so you do this first.
Like you would exhaust this, reveal a random card from your hand, and then you can play it. And then while you're playing it, you can exhaust. Like before you play it, you can exhaust the tech team.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Well, we hope that helps Haida 77, who didn't even ask us. Yes, Reddit, but that's all right. We're going to answer it for you. Here's one. It's all in your head is what this one is called. Joe 1 asks, since Force Illusion, everyone's favorite card, which couldn't be gone soon enough, funny story about Force Illusion, I'll tell you at the end. Since Force Illusion reads, before attached character takes damage, another before effect, does it mean that if my opponent has dice showing 2 melee, 1 melee, and 3 melee, and he wrote all flat and black, I'm not sure what that means. Maybe he's assuming that...
I think just like all base sides.
Base, or flat black. If he resolves his 1 melee die first, Force Illusion couldn't block the next die? Or is it that each die represents one instance of damage, so every die would be independently blockable with Force Illusion? And there was an answer from the Reddit, but I think you know the answer to this one. What's the answer to this one, Mike?
Yeah, he answered his own question, basically, is that each die represents one instance of damage. So your opponent has the opportunity at every instance of damage to use that Force Illusion or not.
So here is a question for you. Now, I feel like this card always gets questions for people who have not played regularly. And the question, like if someone has 3 die and there's let's say a 1 damage, 1 melee, and then there's a +2 melee, and then there's a 2 melee. Do you have to ask so they have to resolve each instance independently, just it happens on the same turn, correct?
Yeah. So like, for me, like when I play, if that's relevant, I will ask like, sort of like how are you splitting these up, or, like how do you want to resolve these, basically?
Right.
Just to like get them to actually kind of say how they're doing it. I mean, a lot of times what they're going to want to do, but just to be completely clear about it. If it doesn't matter, like I don't care if someone just resolves them all in one big pile.
Right. But plus, technically, like the modified, you could Force Illusion the modified with whichever base side goes along with it, because technically, right, that's one instance of damage.
Yes. So if there's like a +3, let's say, and they've got a 1 and a 3, like in the 1 and the 3 are base, like your opponent can decide whether or not to put the +3 with the 3, and then it's like a total of 6 damage coming at you. So it's like either you take 6 or you mill, take 6 cards off the top of your deck.
Right.
Or they put it with a 1 and then it becomes 4. And so, it is like, there is definitely an element of strategy to it. Because, like, what can you get away with in a way?
Exactly.
So it's like, I would probably try to be safe and split it up with like, 3 and 4 so that at least 3 goes through. Because if not, and they, discard the top 6 cards of the deck, they're only actually taking 1 damage.
Right.
So.
Key. See, that's key. That's a big decision right there. It's a tough, that is an interesting card, and there's a lot of different ways to play it, but knowing that, helps you. So what are you going to end up sneaking through? And those are the little decisions that make a big difference, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's your Force Illusion tech, everybody. Here's one for you right up your alley. I'm calling this question Jar Jar Binks, more like Jar Jar Stinks. And the guy's name on Reddit is Yusa in Big Doo Doo asks, after activating Jar Jar, do I also re-roll his upgrade dice that don't match that I rolled with him? And then
yes.
I have a bonus tip, which is what if I used fast hands? But the question is, let me bring up Jar Jar, because there's one key with him. But you could go down a rabbit hole. Let me bring up Jar Stinks. Binks. Here it is. He's the clumsy outcast. Any player may take an action to force you to activate. All right. After you activate this character, re-roll all dice showing his symbol, not showing on his character dice. So after you activate this character, re-roll all dice showing a symbol, not showing on his character dice. The key is activating the character isn't just tapping it, isn't turning it. It's the activation is complete when all of the die associated with the character die, and the upgrades associated with are rolled, correct?
Yes.
That's activation. That when that is done, activation is completed. Now it's after. So it's not before, because the confusion, if you read that thread on Reddit, it was, well, then that means like it's right after you basically turn the card over. It's really not the tapping of the card, it's the rolling.
Correct.
So then,
yes, you would have to reroll his upgrade dice that don't match his own dice. Which is, I mean, it's really interesting when that happens, because it's like it's as if you never rolled it at all.
Right, yeah. You just roll it, don't even look at it, and just then basically deal with it after that, right? Now let me bring up the hands that are fast. Again, from these cards that sound inappropriate. Fast but are not. Fast hands. And there it is. Fast hands, a yellow character only, which would mean Jar Jar. After you activate attached character, you may resolve one of its character upgrade dice. Now, what about this, Mike the Rebel Spy, Rudin? What happens? When do you get to do this? Before you re-roll everything or after?
You get to choose. because they are both your triggers. Like you control both abilities. They are both after abilities, so you get to choose which one goes first.
Even if I don't have the battlefield?
Yeah.
Because they're yours. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So like, for instance, I used to play a deck with Unkar and Fast Hands with Blackmail. And so Blackmail says after you roll this die, your opponent it can give you a resource and you have to remove that die. But if you have Fast Hands on, it says after you activate, you get to resolve any die. So you can, resolve that die with Fast Hands before before your opponent can pay you a resource to remove the die, because they're both your cards and you get to choose the order of those effects. Basically.
Interesting. Very interesting. And by the way, some of my favorite art on a Star Wars Destiny card.
Yes. Awesome art. Definitely.
I just think it's pretty cool. But all right, that's good. You go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the place where the battlefield would come into, if like you and your opponent both have a trigger that happens at the same time. So let's say your opponent is playing Django and you're playing any yellow character. And they both have fast hands. So you roll your character with fast hands. Your opponent activates their Django because you roll your character with, and he has fast hands as well, because they both have after abilities. And like all the after abilities kind of happen at the same time.
Right.
Your opponent, whoever has the battlefield, gets to decide the order.
That makes sense.
The player in that case.
And I feel like this is the simplified version of like those exchange and before and after and all that stuff, because that's why Magic, my brain is just not smart enough for all that. There's so much of that stuff. It's like, I don't interrupts, like the idea of interrupting it gets sloppy. The stack and all that stuff is a headache a lot of the time. Yeah. You know what else the stack is crazy in? Fantasyopoly. It's crazy. Fantasyopoly. Like, do I go to the dungeon? How do I get out of the dungeon? Do I have to roll the keys? Like, how do you get out of the dungeon in Fantasyopoly?
Yeah, you just like leave the party because it's a terrible game.
You say, I'm taking my Flower Millennium Falcon backpack and I'm going home. Is what you say. This one's called I Doubt Maul's Any Good. Artai87 asks, if my opponent doubts my Maul dice, can I choose to not resolve it if it's a resolvable side and instead remove it to use Maul's effect? What do you think about that?
Let's
doubt.
See doubt real quick.
Let's bring it up. We're going to bring up a card called Doubt.
Yeah.
Definitely not great art. Doubt. There it is. Doubt.
Yeah, that art's a little awkward.
Right.
All right, reroll an opponent's die, then that opponent either resolves that die or... So, at any point, you don't have to resolve the die off of doubt. You can always choose to remove it if you don't actually want to resolve it.
Yep.
If you're... And then, let's see, Maul.
Maul. Here it is. Vengeful.
All right, after one or more of this character's character upgrade dice are removed by an opponent's card effect, you may remove one of their dice. So yes, if your opponent plays doubt on one of Maul's dice or his upgrade dice, and you remove that die because of your opponent's card effect, you get to remove one of the dice.
And you know what you did right there, Mike? Great tip for all you new players. You read the card. And at the end of the day, but really, if you read the card, it pretty much tells you what to do. In this case, it tells you whichever you choose to do on doubt, you didn't choose it. It is, both of those are the result of an effect by your opponent's card.
Yeah. So like one thing about like Fantasy Flight games and specifically Destiny, that is kind of different from other games is like, if you read the card, like literally most of the time it's correct. So like most of the time you'll be right about it. And the more literal you are in your information, the better in most cases.
Right. There it is. This is, I didn't realize at the bottom it says formerly Darth, now just Maul. I think you might have told me this before. I asked the same things like 4 times till I understand it. This is after stuff happens.
This is Star Wars Rebels Maul.
Okay. But did he still get cut in half?
Yes. Well, yes. This is after he's already been cut in half, but he has like robot legs now or something.
But when he was cut in half, what happened?
Yeah, go ahead.
He didn't die.
He did not die when he got cut in half.
Did the cartoons explain that, or did something else explain that?
Clone Wars explain that.
Okay. You don't call them cartoons? Is that the wrong thing? Is that insulting to say
they're
cartoons?
they're animated
Okay.
episodes of television.
Okay. Not did they say that in the cartoon? Because I don't remember that in the movies.
Cartoon to me is like what you find in the Sunday papers.
Okay, gotcha. The funnies? Is that what is
yeah.
I want to show you one other thing while I have you. This is more of a personal thing. In the trailer.
Is it a cartoon?
No, this is a movie. This is an action
film.
Spoilers.
No spoilers.
I forgot. I can't show you. Darn it. You spoil everything else except for Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
All right, I can't
Well,
say
actually, no, that's not true. I haven't seen the Infinity War trailer either.
Oh, God. All right. I wanted to say something about something I saw, and I need to know what it is. All right, you'll tell me after.
Yeah.
That's coming soon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm really excited for it. Other people aren't. But here's
I'm like lukewarm on it.
Why? You don't know anything about how are you lukewarm? You haven't seen anything about it?
No. Just based on the premise. So here's the pitch. Let's take one of the most beloved characters in all of film history and give you a movie about him as a young person played by a different actor. Like, does that sound like a good movie to you? Probably not.
He's not like 6. It's not like Boba Fett when he's doing poo-poo in his diapers. You know what I mean?
But that makes it even worse, right? Because exactly what he looks like and what he acts like around that age, probably. But I'm trying to keep like a very open mind about it, and I really so I'm gonna go into it with like low expectations and just like hope to be wowed by it.
Did you see the new Guardians of the Galaxy? That's not new anymore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you see what they did with Kurt Russell's character at the beginning?
Did they make him look young?
Yeah, like very young. Yeah. Is that what would you have preferred? Because they did that. They brought Princess Leia back from the dead.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
All right. We'll see after, right?
That'd be kind of weird. I mean, Harrison Ford would never be down to do that. So.
No. But did you at least read about the reshoots?
Yes.
Okay. That's not a spoiler.
Yes. And I am a big Ron Howard fan, mostly from Arrested Development. So I am hopeful that he is doing a good job.
He is going to be fine. Maybe that's why. How about this? Maybe the reason why we're not seeing spoilers is because of that. The movie.
Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah. Yeah. It certainly could be. Like if there's cards from the movie in the, in the next set.
Would you play?
Definitely could be.
I mean, that Woody Harrelson's in it. Or is that a spoiler?
Oh, I knew that, but I have no idea what his character is.
Okay, I'm not going to say anything about him. I won't.
Yeah.
But you could play like a Woody Harrelson deck. Or you could have a Woody Harrelson, Jimmy Smits deck.
A Woody Harrelson, Jimmy Smits, Daenerys Targaryen deck.
That could dominate immediately. It already does. I'm going to give you one more. Here it is. Ready? This softball. Do you want to know about it? Here's the theme. Don't look at the context. It's an Irish goodbye, or if you'll be my bodyguard, I can call you Al. Which one do you want?
You got to give me both of those.
Okay, here we go.
That's too funny.
All right. Super easy. Here you go. Irish goodbye. MC Cryptid asks, if I play hasty exit from my hand, does it force my opponent to claim the battlefield? Whatever that means. I know to take claim of the battlefield. I know it says give control and not make your opponent claim. But how can you use it? If you've already claimed the battlefield, how can you use it? I thought claiming the battlefield meant you no longer can take any actions for the rest of the round. Well, how about you explain hasty exit a little bit? Do you want to bring it up?
Yeah. So hasty exit, without sounding rude, is another one. Like it says exactly what it does on the card. Just be like very literal about it.
Yep.
So to be able to give control of the battlefield, you have to first have control of the battlefield. So that usually happens by claiming on the previous round. And by giving control of the battlefield to your opponent, you're just taking the battlefield card and putting it on your opponent's side of the table.
Yep.
They're not claiming it. There's nothing to do with claiming. Doesn't say the word claim anywhere. So
this seems to be a very popular card these days.
Yes, it's a very good card.
By the way, a character this is like rubbing it in.
It's
now.
Another one. It's another one.
Something you don't know.
Now I got to find out what they're called.
There are people right now just screaming like, "It's this you! I can't believe he says he knows Star Wars."
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
All right. I guess I'm just going to have to just accept the fact. It'll probably be on Twitter in about an hour. You'll tell us. So exactly.
Well, I'm about to look it up.
Okay,
right
good.
now, so it's fine.
All right. This one is this is the last question for tonight. Super easy one. It's,
Okay.
If you'll be my bodyguard, I can call you out. Smithola asks, I'm playing a Jedi Temple Guard, underused card by the way, with Guardian keyword in my deck, and I wanted to know if my opponent rolls 2 melee damage and a +2 modifier melee damage, can I activate my Temple Guard to remove his 2 melee damage side only, leaving him only the modifier for the next round, or am I forced to absorb the 4 damages? Rebel Spy.
Your only option is to remove one of those dice.
There you go.
And you are correct in that you want to remove the 2 base melee sides so that they're left with a modifier that does nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So until your opponent resolves their dice, like those modifiers and base sides are not linked in any way.
So get rid of the base.
Yes. Yeah. And like Guardian specifically says 1 die. So you can only ever remove 1.
You couldn't take the modifier, could you?
You could if you wanted to. So like, let's say,
Maul's lightsaber.
Yeah. Let's say Maul's lightsaber, and they have a 1 and a 2, and the 2 is Maul's lightsaber. Like, go for the Maul's lightsaber movie. But then they're just going to roll it in again and hit you.
Unless it was after their.
Yeah. After the second time or something like that. But yeah, you can take any damage side whatsoever. So
there you go.
Indirect, even if you wanted to. There'd be no
Indirect.
point, but you could. Well, I guess there would be a point. Let's say, like, you have an indirect that's a 1, 2, and a 3 side, and they hit the 1 side. You can Guardian away the lower value.
Yeah, Guardian is one of those abilities that when I think for newer players it's a little bit weird, but it is mitigation all day long. Is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And just take advantage of that.
Yeah, Guardian is a really cool ability. I think it's hasn't been I wish that there was like a better Guardian character, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it's not really a big mechanic that you really see that much anymore.
Uh-huh.
You see like the old Captain Phasma had where she could make her like buddies have Guardian if they were non-unique. But yeah.
There's a guy right there. You mentioned him tonight.
Well, that's why he's one of my favorite Guardian guard. Because he's Guardian. He's got 11 health. Like, what more do you want?
And he's 10.
Yeah.
3 damage side, sort of.
Yep.
This might make an appearance. If you could make this work, you'd be you're already my hero, but I think this needs to go in a deck somehow. This needs to get to Worlds. This would be great.
Yeah.
I love that Jay used to play that 3 Little Piggies deck. I love that build.
Yeah, that deck looked like a lot of fun.
But did you find out what that character was before we end here?
No, I'm not going to figure it out.
How would you even search that? How about this? I'm going to show you my Google tips. You told me Control F tonight. I'm going to give you this one. Here's my Google tip. I'm going to type in Star Wars character with 3 eyes. And look, it already has come up before.
Oh, it's autofilling for you. Perfect.
All right. And you're going to say, of course it is. Here it goes, everybody. Get ready.
It's literally going to be the first thing, isn't it?
He's going to say, oh, yeah, I knew that.
Oh, come on.
There it is. GRAN.
All right. What's a GRAN?
Identifiable by their 3. By everyone saying, see, it's GRAN.
I've literally never heard that word before. So
you've never heard of GRAN? It's sentient humanoid. It was
they have 2 stomachs.
Of course.
Fascinating.
Of course. Members of the species included the pod racer pilot Mawahanik, Galactic Republic Senators Ask-Ak, Philo, Karis, as well as the criminal Reese. You ever heard of Reese? Worked for Jabba the Hutt? I
have heard of Reese, but I don't know why.
Because he's got 3 eyes.
Oh, that's why.
Reese. There it is. They're sentient humanoid species, identifiable from their goat-like faces and 3 eyes. Their heads were topped with 4 antenna-like nubs, 2 of which were short and straight. This is crazy that somebody's got this. And another set that were long and curved.
The amount of just like detail that is in this is kind of insane.
The former type also had hands that carried not just digits, 6 slender digits. The latter type, GRAN, either had smaller human-like hands or fatter hands with thick digits that ended in flat suction cup-like appendages. And the GRAN had 2 stomachs. Oh my God. Okay. Well, if you want that, I'll put a link in the show notes for you too.
I like that it links you to stomachs right there.
But it's going to be on
just in case you don't know.
Yes, it was an organ used for digesting food. Oh my God.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Oh my God. Han admonished Chewbacca for thinking with his stomach after he pulled a carcass and got caught in an Ewok booby trap. Oh my God. I hope there are Ewoks in Way of the Force. I really do. I would do it. I want to do a Jawa vehicle deck, but I'll talk to you about that at some point. I think it can be done.
Do you think it can be done?
Well, I don't. Somebody was talking about on Your Destiny podcast, by the way, which I really like, which is from Denmark. They want to do it was a droid, some sort of a droid vehicles deck. And I think red might be the color that you have to do that. But I don't know. I think I want something like that to just surprise people.
Yeah.
And most likely myself.
It'd be fun. It could be fun.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Yeah. Something like that.
And that's half the battle.
Be that guy. You got to be that guy when you head over to Worlds, and just go after it, surprise people just like you did before. I'm going to be pulling for you. You got to give updates.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
We'll see.
Mike, I appreciate you taking the time tonight. You haven't eaten. You got to go eat. I apologize. And as a vegan, you're probably like your stomach's eating itself, like you were a GRAN.
Well, yeah. One of the stomachs is eating the other stomach.
One of the stomachs has already ingested it.
I'll still have one left over. It's fine.
But how is real quick shout outs? Anybody? You still doing the Jedi trials over there and D House being a daddy?
Yeah. Shout out to baby D House. And hopefully I will find an opportunity to do another solo episode with somebody.
You were the torchbearer.
Yeah, I'll have to have you. Although it'll probably end up being something very similar to this.
Yes, it sounds very good, except for you can lead it because I would love to be able to relax a little bit for that. So.
All right, it sounds good. My other shout out is not Destiny related. A little bit of self promotion. The band that I'm in just released. We just put out our first song.
What?
Plus video.
No way.
Yeah, if you go to my like Twitter or Facebook profiles, I posted about it on there, so you can check it out.
I thought you don't use Facebook.
No, I use Facebook for Star Wars Destiny specifically. That's not me. That's a different Mike.
Look at that guy
who actually lives in Los Angeles. It's very strange.
Right. And he's all over Twitter.
We've actually like chatted before, and we're at one point supposed to go and meet up and get drinks, but we never did.
There he is right there. Look at that. Yep. The band is called Dusk.
The band is called Dusk. The song is called Odin.
Awesome. And you got a video and everything. Am I going to get sued?
No.
Okay. Well, how would you describe the style, Mike?
It's like alternative rock with some like a little bit of progressive mixed in there, a little bit of metal mixed in there, a little bit of like sort of groovy, like sort of funk mixed in there. That's my bit, but this song in particular is a bit more like just alternative, like heavier alternative.
Awesome. You're using some Shure mics in there too. It looks good.
Yeah. Well, it was a fun time to record all that.
Awesome. Congratulations. I cannot wait to listen to this. So you had to lead with that. Are you kidding me? That's huge, man. I appreciate that. That's good. And I want to talk to you about this at another point too, about God Tier, because that looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
You said you're not into miniatures, but you'd be all over this one, huh?
Yeah, because you don't have to paint anything. And well, I mean, like you do if you want them to look nice, but they're all like different colors based on their class, which I think is really cool. And they're all like pre-assembled, so I don't have to use glue or anything like that, which is sweet.
Yes,
and the game looks very streamlined and pretty fun.
Yeah, that's God Tier. Awesome. Yeah. Well, Mike, thank you again. Go get some dinner. I appreciate it. You were the man. And for everyone else, stick around for our Patreon. We're going to be talking to all of you. And again, thank you. We have a bunch of new people, so I want to make sure you get thanked. We'll do that at the end of this episode. And as always, as you're preparing your decks and you're playing in Worlds or you're in the Cantina Brawl over in LA, I hope that all of your rerolls are special ones. We'll see you very soon.